A colossal monster, a city in ruins, no way out, except inside of the all-electric Toyota CHR. John Cho stars in Escape. Test drive Toyota's new all-electric family today. Toyota, let's go places.
All right, everybody. I am just so excited. Today is an extra special bonus episode of the Stacks Unabridged. That is my content that is exclusive to paid subscribers on Patreon and Substack. If you're listening to this right now and it cuts out after like 15 minutes, it means you're not a paid subscriber. Please go do that. But if you get to hear the whole thing, what you're going to get to hear is like an hour-long conversation between me and my favorite soccer analyst, not Alexi Lawless. No. It is my dear brother, Brady Thomas. Brady, welcome to the Stacks.
Longtime fan. Great to finally be here.
Long time, first time. Brady has been begging to come on this show for 8 years. And I just turned 40 this week as you're listening. And I thought, as an elder in the community, I should be more mature and I should allow my fans to have more access to me. So welcome again, Brady. I'm so honored.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, I've been following your stuff for as long as I can remember. You've had a big impact on me. And so I'm grateful for the opportunity to share my knowledge.
Okay. We're going to do a World Cup recap. The plan is to talk about what we just watched for the last 5 weeks, to talk a little bit about FIFA and unfortunately Trump. And also we're going to kind of end this with what you, dear listener, who just became obsessed with Erling Haaland, Jude Bellingham, soccer in general, what you should be looking forward to moving forward, because now you're a diehard soccer fan like the rest of us. So let's just start kind of at the beginning, big picture. Brady, what did you make of the 2026 World Cup?
I was honestly a big detractor heading into it. I think I was acutely aware of the issues that were coming into play with having Donald Trump represent the United States on a grand scale. And so the Faustian bargain that was struck between our president, Donald J. Trump, and the head of FIFA, Infantino, was something that I was very nervous about. But after, what was that, a month and a half of sporting brilliance, I came away with it relatively excited about what I just witnessed. And I think it lived up to what I was hoping it would be. And it didn't hit all of the negative points that I was really fearful of.
Only some, like only just like minor sort of infractions, like calling FIFA to get our star player back in the game, which like was good for us. And so we liked it. I'm going to be honest. I liked it. We sucked it up after that. It's the Trump, Trump poisons everything he touches. But, okay, we just got off the final. Spain won the World Cup. You did predict it. I don't want to give you credit, but it's true that you did, and there are text messages to prove it. So I guess congratulations to you.
Thank you.
But also, my big takeaway from this World Cup was like, it was so much fun from a fan perspective. It was so much fun when it started. We started the World Cup. We've got more teams than ever. We're getting an extra round. People are discovering my beloved Scotland. Like Norway is making this great showing. The group stages are shockingly fun. Like I was interested in like Slovenia or whatever, like their soccer team, sure. But as the World Cup went on, I actually feel like it got less and less fun at every matchup later in the thing. It was like round of 16. Oh my God, USA, Belgium. And every time I wanted a team to win, they lost, which meant that Argentina made it to the final. So I feel like I loved watching people discover the World Cup, but also then was reminded of how less and less fun it gets because there's less and less games. You like less and less of the teams. And in this case, there were so many African nations that made it to the knockout, and then only I think one made it there were 10 teams that went into the World Cup. 9 made it to the round of 32. And I think, it was Morocco and Egypt. So 2 made it too. And so that was sort of a bummer for everyone who was just rooting for Black people.
Yeah. I mean, I think underlying all of that is just the pressure involved at this level. So I feel like the group stages are fun. You have Curacao, you have Cape Verde, you have South Africa, you have all these countries that might not have an opportunity to showcase. And so they're just happy to be there, and they're going to oftentimes play free and open. Then you get to the knockout stage, And that's where the rubber meets the road. And the best example of that was you saw how tight, how absolutely in their own heads the English national team was for the whole entire tournament. They get knocked out to Argentina in what is going to be a very memorable matchup for a number of reasons.
Justice for the Falklands.
And then the next game, they come out and play free open. They're having a blast because there's no more stakes. And it was pretty interesting to see that. I think that's what the difference was between the group stage. And then when you got to the knockout stage, everybody, it's literally life or death.
Right. I think England is an interesting team specifically because they have so much pressure at home and they have like the media and the tabloids there are just so ruthless in a way that I think like here, even though our team really stunk it up in the round of 16, it was like on ESPN for 20 minutes. And then everyone was like, they were like, Carl Pulisic, we love him. I was like, no, that's not even his name and he sucks. So I do think like knowing what I know about soccer as a fan outside of just like the World Cup and knowing the kind of pressure that happens in the UK specifically, England was a fun team to watch because they I felt like they seemed looser than normal until the Argentina game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's just England.
Sure.
You saw the absolute meltdown in Germany and Brazil after they got knocked out early.
Yeah.
I think the pressure,
right, and South Korea. I mean,
in South Korea,
what
a great example.
What a nightmare.
Whoa. Yeah. So you see in countries where
people care about soccer.
Football is not the fourth or fifth biggest sport in the nation, that there's so much riding on it. Whereas in the United States, they're already worried about, LeBron's next.
They're worried about football. This is football season. The other football. Do you feel like, were you excited by what you saw from American cities as we hosted the World Cup? Do you believe, as people say every year, now a new generation of children will be into soccer? Or do you think it's the same stuff? It's just the social media of like Scotland in Boston is like more fun than when we didn't have social media for it.
Yeah. I mean, I think that travel is the best thing that you can do to become smarter, like going different places and seeing.
And read books.
And reading
obviously.
books, yes. But going other places and seeing that there's not just one way to do things is really illuminating. And so getting to import that into the United States was powerful. And hopefully there are people that are going to take to the sport in a way that they wouldn't if this, would have been hosted in any other nation. But the fact of the matter is, I think the joy was brought from abroad, and I don't know how long it lingers in a world where all of these matches, all of these players that people have now grown to love over the next month or last month or month and a half are going to be playing their 9-to-5 soccer in a country that you might not know much about, or in a league that you might not be in tune to watch. And so that's the part that's tricky.
I feel like what was fun about the World Cup, and I think like particularly meaningful for Americans who maybe don't agree with the Trump administration, is it was sort of a reminder of like, we're fun, we're cool. Like the people on the ground are lovely. Like we could all get along if our leaders maybe weren't such fucking assholes. And it was also like a reminder that as much as everyone hates America, rightfully so, like I get it. Like please, like we're in the middle of bombing countries just like for no reason and like rounding up people.
Sure.
Like I understand why you would hate us. It was a reminder that like we do have good stuff here. And like watching people discover Chick-fil-A sauce is like so much fun. And also so many people like being open to foreigners in a way that if you just like read the headlines about America, you would think that like anyone from another country we would automatically hate. But seeing like people from Cote d'Ivoire like dancing in American streets, dancing in the streets of America while like white boy Americans are dancing with them, and you're like, right.
Yeah.
We actually could have a great time together, and like we actually do appreciate each other. And obviously that's like sort of soccer's biggest tagline. I feel like FIFA's the worst, but like soccer sort of is the sport that brings people together in that way. So I was heartened by that. And also, again, watching people eat like burritos for the first time.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Well, I feel like the stuff coming out of Mexico City and Guadalajara was the most fun.
It was definitely Mexico City, like because it was like a bunch of Korean people in Mexico City. Japanese, where were the Japanese? They were somewhere fun too. Also,
Yeah.
maybe Mexico.
I think they had a couple games in Mexico.
The Scottish in Boston, the Norwegians in Boston and New York City. And then the Germans, I think, were in like Texas, which was like amazing. They had that guy Freddie like in the South.
Yeah. That's the thing is it's like you have the unity, you have the patriotism that is beautiful, not the disgusting nationalism or racism, but you have the patriotism that you want people to show for the pride, right? And then you also have the contradiction, which is nations that are in the same competition are bombing one another in real time.
Denying people visas. Political
leadership. I mean, there was the situation with, I think it was the Paraguayan congresswoman.
Oh, and Mbappe.
And Mbappe. That was almost too racist to believe happening in real time. So you bring people together, you get the best and the worst. But I think for the most part, it was pretty beautiful, all in all. And it didn't descend into some of the worst fears that I had, at least starting.
Yeah. What do you make of like, what do you think people who don't follow football don't understand about like FIFA, its history, the racism? Like, I think a lot of people watching maybe heard like FIFA's so corrupt, but maybe don't know what that looks like. And obviously they saw what happened with Trump and Balogun or people, the Nigerians on TikTok are telling me to say Balogun. So anyways, what we saw with that, but like, to me, that didn't feel out of place, right? Like to me, I was like, of course this is going to happen. So can you explain to people a little bit of like why everyone says FIFA's the worst and they're corrupt and like how that's maybe different than other soccer?
So FIFA basically puts on the World Cup. I think it's 90% or 80% of the income they make in any 4-year period comes from the World Cup. They are supposedly nominally a nonprofit organization, if you can believe that.
Yeah, cheap.
But it has steadily grown from what the World Cup started as 100 years ago into this a huge money-making operation. And so you have the person at the top, Infantino, who is put there by all of the voters from these individual confederations, which are all also seemingly corrupt men for the most part.
And a confederation is like CONCACAF.
Yeah, or the country itself. So FIFA's broken up into different groups of different nations that are loosely around where the countries are located. So you have like a set of them that is South America, North America, Europe, Oceania. Is that how you say that?
Oceania, and then Asia. But Australia plays in Asia now. They moved.
Okay. And Africa. So each one of these feeds up into a larger group that is also just as corrupt and hungry for money. There's been documented cases of bribes and extortion and betting and all these other things that you wouldn't try to associate with something that is supposedly about the sport. But it also has a stranglehold on there's 1 billion plus people that are watching these matches. There's nothing else in the world like that, bar the Olympics. And I think even that doesn't get the same type of viewership or passion around it. So you have to take both. You get the dichotomy of disgusting corporatism and money grubbing, and then you also get what we got to see, which was passion and in some cases really beautiful soccer.
And does FIFA, like, because one of the things that FIFA does is they try to like respond to people saying they're racist or corrupt. Like this year we had the new "don't cover your face" rule.
Oh, yeah.
Can you explain like what that is about? I know that didn't actually come out of a FIFA match, but just like some of that, like on-field fan, like they try to legislate the fans.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Well, it's interesting what they focus on because 4 years ago and 6 years ago when the United States and Mexico were hosting, there was a lot of uproar around the anti-gay slurs that the Mexican fans oftentimes were shouting during the game. For whatever reason, the Mexican fans continued to do it, but it wasn't a point of emphasis this year and it didn't really come up. But there was something that happened maybe 2 or 3 months before this World Cup where one of the best players in the world, Vinicius, who plays for Brazil, got into an altercation with an Argentinian player, go figure, on the pitch during a Champions League match, which is the club schedule, which is the 9 to 5 that these guys have. And the Argentinian fullback covered his mouth, said something, and the whole Real Madrid team in Vinicius erupted. They said it was racist. It turned into this whole thing. They couldn't really prove what he said was racist. He said it was actually an anti-gay slur, which was the way he defended himself. And so they
I'm not racist.
No.
I hate gay people.
Yeah, exactly.
Hello.
Yeah, exactly.
What is wrong with you?
So that guy was suspended for a few games, but they couldn't really prove it. So now they came out and said, okay, cool. If you cover your mouth in an altercation with an opposing player, we're automatically treating it as if you did something that was the worst case scenario. So you're kicked out of the match, and I think you're suspended for the next match or something like that. And so we saw that happen a few times. And even Messi tried to get somebody else embroiled.
Okay. You guys know I don't like Argentina as a team. I wrote a post on my Substack, which I'm assuming you read because you're a paid subscriber because you're listening to this, where I talked about like how to pick a team to root for in the World Cup. I was like, you got to root for your home country, even if you hate America or wherever you're from. You got to pick a team that's like your underdog team. And maybe you don't know that going in. You discover it. A lot of you went with Cape Verde. You got to pick a team that like probably could win. I went with England because I know a lot of the guys from the Premier League. And then you have to have at least one team you hate. Okay. And I was like, I have two. Mine are Argentina and Germany for like, World War II related reasons. And it has been thrilling to watch Argentina just behave in the kinds of ways you want your enemy team to behave. Germany got knocked out early, a great celebration for me. Watching Argentina, whether it was actually the refs were rooting for them because of FIFA or not, watching them play like fucking assholes yesterday in the final. Messi trying to bait someone, talking about a guy getting hit in the face by a ball that Messi kicked into this man's face by accident. And then the Spanish teammate went over and was like, touched his face and was like, oh, he hit his face. And then Messi turns to the ref and is like, he's covering his mouth. We want him off. Watching another player get a red card, watching them after the match, beat people up. Did you see Messi after that? They show a shot where Messi like looks over, sees them getting in a fight, and he just continues to keep walking. I'm just like, I feel like that's also a knock on Messi because like a real teammate would have gone over and got in the muck, tried to pull people off. He just looked and walked away. It was like, oh, I don't go here anymore.
All right, that's it. If you want more of this episode of The Stacks Unabridged, you must join The Stacks Pack on Patreon by going to patreon.com/thestacks or subscribe to my newsletter Unstacked at tracythomas.substack.com. And remember, by joining either of those places, you make it possible for me to make The Stacks every single week free to all. Thank you so much for your support, and we will see you in The Stacks.